all who are joining us on YouTube. We are backstage right now. We will be on River West Radio in about 20 seconds. So just hang tight here as we are rolling in real quick. Kurt, you ready? Can you please spotlight me?
I don't have the privilege.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we are always so thrilled to be here. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our everyday lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and we celebrate the ability in all of us. Today we have none other than my fantastic husband, Kurt Roskoff, joining us. And I have some fun questions to ask him tonight because he has had a lot of events coming his way, a lot of big things that are coming down the pipeline here. And we are going to just explore a little bit about what they all are and what they mean for the community in general. And again, both those of us who have disability and not, these are events that are for everybody. So I am going to go ahead and bring Kurt in and just check in and see. Hey, Kurt, do you have any first thoughts on top of your mind before we dive into some of these fun things that are coming up? Over to you.
Well, in a general sense, it is an interesting transition into 2023 in terms of events, because event planners and the world of getting people back active, in-person events, the feedback that I'm getting in my circles is that, we're not really back to 2019 or 2020 before COVID. There definitely is a big appetite for, more in-person events. The virtual stuff is lingering on and the hybrid thing is emerging more and more. Yet the formula, in my reaches has not revealed itself yet in terms of what the entirety of masses, entirety of the population is really looking for to engage. It seems as though the last few years has brought a lot of population into enjoying, privacy, their home entertainment centers, listening to River West Radio, and, things like this that are, just kind of really where people are settling in and keeping them themselves and just doing other things that have, more of a private, meeting, and doesn't necessarily mean they're going out all over the place, attending live events, or even, getting hooked to, stay on their devices and, do the virtual event. It's there in a big way, like 80%, definitely in those directions, but there's this, margin of error that, really I think we're all working on is how do we emerge our culture and our activities, events, and, functions, celebrations, holidays, that it's this idea of new normal, like what is it exactly? We're doing it pretty good, like for the lion's share of it. But the exciting thing is uncracking the code here as we continue in 2023. So it's a challenge and it's exciting. And as the numbers keep climbing, we can trust that we're getting closer to what the world is looking for.
Yeah, I think you hit it there that it is a new normal. And I think there's a certain amount of the population that is just itching to get out and start experiencing big events again. And that camaraderie that you find even with the strangers you meet that day, all the fun that can be had. And I know so you've been telling me a little bit about some of these activities that are coming up that later this year, but there's a couple here that I don't know anything about yet. So I'm excited to hear more and find out what is this? So first one that's coming up, and we're going to go chronologically here because the first event is actually down in Austin, Texas. The Joshua Stage Open House is on Sunday, May 28th. That's as much as I know at this point. Tell me, what is this event? What is it all about?
Well, the idea is for everybody in Milwaukee here, it's a nice little event and a nice little group, Joshua's Stage, where, the great stage productions, here at Ability MK Now, we've had, a local organization here, that does stage productions, had some friends here, lively discussions, that this is a powerful thing where people with disabilities can get on the stage and, really express their abilities and, really grow and, feel this venue of being expressed and having an audience and fitting in, being a part of culture, having that Broadway feeling, whether it goes to Shakespeare or whatever. I mean, who knows? We talk about that in our veterans groups that happens. So that's what's going on down there in Austin. So it's an open house. It's a thing where Joshua, the founder of the program, reports that they're at the apex, of their program. He's been working on it for about a decade. And so they got about 10 different programs that are available in this thing, including a summer camp and such like that. So this is just kind of a way that, I make myself available out and around the world, so that I can come back here to Milwaukee and say, wow, does Milwaukee have an appetite for anything like this? Or like we're saying virtually, when they're doing live streaming and everything from Austin, what are we all going to say when we see that? Is that something that's just kind of great for them down there? Or it's some idea building for how we might grow and tweak and modify and, learn from people other places. That's what this is all about.
That is the one really good thing that came out of, like we're saying, with COVID and the new normal, that we're able to do things even as a remote participant. So even though it's down in Texas, and if we're able to participate from here, that's huge. We get to have those experiences that we wouldn't otherwise be able to. That's been a nice byproduct of what all has come out of COVID, and I think that's amazing that they're able to do that, and we can enjoy and participate from here as well. So any last thoughts on that one, or shall we move to our next?
Let's go ahead and move to the next. Let's keep the show
Okay.
moving along.
Well, number 2 is actually another event down in Texas. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you to tell us all about the second one.
Oh, okay. All right. So the second one is a fun event, Racearoos. It's in Conroe, Texas, where they've got a stadium area, I might call it, or like you can imagine for horse races. And so it's like a convention expo type grounds, and so they have this neat area for barrel races, and so it's a free event for people to go to. The draw is people who are into going for the prize, and being the race, they think they've got the fastest horse. Go ahead and pay for entry into there and be a part of the competition. And so it's to support Down for Smiles, a nonprofit. And there's a photographer through Isabel Grace Photography that is putting in a lot of the hard work to make this thing happen. So again, a hybrid event. We're going to be interviewing people at the event and doing a little bit of like roaming news reporting type style. We're going to be here kind of like at the anchor desk, and then have the field reporters out there and having nice little conversations with people at the event, and really showing a neat thing being done for children with Down syndrome.
That's pretty exciting. So that is a big piece of this I was not aware of too, that there'll be like the roving reporters there and you'll be able to do a chunk of it from here then. So that's excellent. And that again is on Saturday, June 17th. So that's not too far away anymore. Is that actually Father's Day weekend, I believe? Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, the next big event that is coming up is actually not until fall, but it's huge. It is the Afro International Film Market and Festival. The Afro International Film Market and Festival, October 12th through the 14th in Atlanta, Georgia. Now that I know is it's international. This is going to be a very big deal. So, and Kurt, I know you've had some very specific roles within that group that is getting this all together. So come on in and tell us more about this big event.
All right. So I have become a global partner with Afro International Film Market and Festival. It's a great opportunity in the world, where they have access to 700 films from 80 countries. And at the Auburn Avenue Research Library in Atlanta, there's going to be some nice screenings and, nice announcements, celebration, an award that's going to be given out for these film submissions. And the neat outcome of this is that there's going to be a sweet spot for Africa, for the world, but made possible through Africa in two ways. One is empowering Africans to have a grander part of the world of film production. And then also for in the world of film production, create a grander harvesting of stories through Africa. Like many people have heard of African storytellers and stuff like this. So it's going to be a real cultural experience, and it's really going to allow people to reflect and really think about, for those of outside of the continent of Africa, is there a way that we might want to really get a little closer? Actually, we have a friend right in Milwaukee with great ties, to Africa, and great ties to a village out there, been on our show, and, a lot of stories told by her, and strong interest in the disability community, and really helping Milwaukee come to a new level in what we're doing for Milwaukeeans with disabilities and all around the Milwaukee marketplace, to really do a lot of things that the advocacy here at AbilityMKE Now reflects. So again, this film market and festival is a hybrid opportunity. So we're structuring it to have 1,000 people go through Georgia, and then another 1,000 people online. So we're anticipating a couple thousand people coming through the event virtually between now and October 14th, and then in person October 12th through the 14th.
Excellent. Well, I like the phrase you use there of harvesting of stories. I feel like that's a lot of what we do even here on a different level, being it's on the radio, but just hearing the different stories and being able to learn from each other and participate on a level like that, where it is all a lot through storytelling with how we learn from one another. So I'm very curious to see how this all ends up coming together. And I know the individuals that I've met along the way so far that are involved in that event seem pretty dynamic. And I think it's going to be a very, very big thing for those in the film industry with them and what they're all able to assemble here. So let's see here. So if people want to find out more information, is there a place where they can learn more about this?
Well, I think what you're looking for is there is a website. The digit one, so one film and then the digit one again, one market summit.org. And you can find, Afro International Film Market and Festival on, Facebook and YouTube. There's an Instagram, so you can Google it. So information can be found, in many ways. Yes.
All right. All right. Well, and I know that we do have one more big event coming up that I know you've been involved in, actually, kind of on the periphery, I believe, over the last couple of years with Shine Music Festival taking place in Colorado. If I am remembering the details right here, it will be the third annual coming up in Colorado here, December, wrong date, August 26th. So August 26th in Colorado. I know that's Colorado. I think you may be able to give us a sneak peek of not only what that event is, but what that event is going to mean for Milwaukee in 2024. So I'm going to pass that back to you to give us some insights as to what is the event and what the heck is going to be happening here, shining basically from that event.
So we're talking about a music event that, attracts thousands of people. And the great signature of this one is that it's in universal design, where it's universally accessible, like the whole ground. So one way to think about it is like here in Milwaukee, we have Damian Bookman working with the, parks here in the Milwaukee area. And so obviously credit to the staff of the parks and the leadership and, the response that is given from the governmental level and what we're doing here in Milwaukee to take that, approach of the Ability Center, that instead of being so locked into having an accessible area that is a section of the property or a building or an area, the objective here is to make everything accessible so that a person with a disability can be anywhere on the grounds and the entirety of the grounds is accessible. So that's what's accomplished in Denver, Colorado, by Shine Music Festival. Is that's the commitment, is wherever people with disabilities want to be enjoying the music and the concert, Shine Music Festival is going to make it happen to make their listening and viewing experience as ideal as possible. And so we did get Shine Music Festival talking with Milwaukee World Festival Inc., that is behind Summerfest, the world's largest music festival right here in Milwaukee. And we did invite Independence First, our independent living center here in Milwaukee, to listen in, just to scope it out, to be in the loop of what's going on. And it's open. It's an open project that that people who want information can get it and be a part of it. Open to more stakeholders. And this brings us full circle to a few years ago, beyond a few years ago, before COVID set in, because Milwaukee World Festival Inc., from December 2019. Right up until the announcements of COVID, and even beyond the announcements of COVID, because it's a September event for what we're doing here in Milwaukee. And so it was many months into it before we figured out that, Milwaukee World Festival Inc. with the Summerfest grounds and the situation in Milwaukee was not going to allow, the Global Ability Fest that we had formatted for September 2020. So now, and kind of waiting 4 years, we're going to have September 2024, the return of Global Ability Fest, but it's going to ride on the backs of Shine Music Festival, which Shine and Milwaukee World Festival Inc. are talking about what is the ideal way of bringing this. And then Shine Music Festival is going to be announcing this aspect that Milwaukee is going to be the first ever added site for Shine Music Festival. 3 years running in Colorado, And then they'll be having their event in 2024 in Colorado, plus having Milwaukee as well. And then 2025, probably adding on another, city or two, and growing this future of having music festival experiences for everybody. But again, that Global Ability Fest side of it is going to have adaptive sports and rec, a resource fair, health fair, demonstrations, having performing arts and so forth by people with disabilities, obviously food fair and, all that stuff. So we're going to add on a lot of the stuff that we had planned in 2020. It's going to be coming in 2024 in September.
It's an exciting turn of events here where something that we thought, at least I personally thought, was going to be just an unfortunate loss for our area, that it didn't end up happening as we had hoped because of the whole shutdown and everything, that now it will be coming back around and bigger and better than we could have thought, being able to partner up with Shine Music Festival. So how did you connect with Shine Music Festival? What was the magic that happened there?
To be honest with you, I don't remember how we connected. I don't know if it was through Happy Neighborhood Project, maybe. Yeah, there was somebody who introduced us to Shine, or with the right group of people, where somehow I got my attention on Shine, and working with our co-host here, Emily, who helps us with the AbilityMKE Now show. We just got setting up appointments with her, and then she ended up becoming a verified happy business of Happy Neighborhood Project. So yeah, exactly where the introductory point was, I don't remember. I just dove right into the thing and didn't keep track of that connector. So
That's sometimes I know that's come up before on here, where how things end up connecting. Sometimes it's a very fine line of who knows who and how connections end up taking place. And sometimes it's a very fine thread that connects one point to another, and unbelievably big things can happen. That sometimes it just takes noticing. It takes taking that moment and looking into it a little further, finding out, like, wait, this music festival, what exactly is this? And okay, they've got a lot of the same values and priorities as what we do. Let's talk, let's find out more. And I can totally see how you, being the connector that you are, that you would have gone down that path and to see where can this go. And that's one of the things it's pretty cool, the number of people and the number of directions things have gone, where you've just dove in and said, where can this go? And then the creativity that comes from that, and the amazing directions, even with all of that's really where everything started, back with the adaptive water skiing. I know we're just getting now into our swing of our ski season, and we have some dates that will be coming up here this summer where we'll have adaptive water skiing. And I'm going to come back and actually revisit that briefly and just ask you, after being part of adaptive water skiing for so long, what is the biggest highlight for you at this point, looking forward to this coming summer and knowing how events run, how much it takes to put them on and to bring people in and get the volunteers and all the things that go into this? When you look ahead to our season of adaptive water skiing, what does it mean to you? Where's your mind on with all of this? Is this, I guess I'm just kind of curious where you're at with it. Go ahead.
well, I would say that a great neat part of it is the gotta do it, heartfelt heart work, like it's a commitment, and it's got a life of its own. And so, like with the Lindsay Legis Free Water Skiing Club, with Rick and Denise Legis, and their commitment with the pony boat, and doing free and for fun Fridays, and so forth, that that with that, the aqueducts there, are kind of a backbone to that program working forward. And they're a show ski organization. We're part of a show ski organization in Pewaukee, and the collaboration and to be able to introduce people to the idea. Because like we had people visiting us in Pewaukee to join for water skiing. Their kids went water skiing and so forth. And then with what we're doing, they kind of hear about a sit ski, and then they never heard of that before. And then they got their own conjurement of what the sit ski thing is. And then they're catching on to that. We take people with disabilities, and they're still not putting it together, and that we can, connect those dots, and that, that this is just a little snippet of the bigger scale where we are institutionalized through the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation that gives us a statewide commitment, as we set out to do a decade ago, that everybody skis, the inclusion of water skiing campaign. And we got great programs like Graceful Wakes, with the, world-renowned Rock Aqua Jays out of Janesville, Wisconsin, and Grace Petzold there with, her leading the division now, the adaptive water ski division. And what a neat story is there from their family. Pretty much our signature program in the state of Wisconsin and beyond, even if you think on a national or worldwide level. Graceful Wakes is pretty much it is a world-class adaptive ski program. And so just to see how all that came forward through the works of many people. I tell the story about how we started out with a half a dozen people, kind of hovering around us, Sue, and then it grew to 20. And then when we had about 20 people and working with the late Ann O'Brien Satterfield, conjured up a train the trainer program. And then we had 80 people involved, and that dispersed everybody to go back to their local communities and, move forward on what they were trained to be able to do, which is to help instrument an adaptive ski program, and that we're a collective. So they're not on their own, that they can work with us the whole way. And that, our thousands of water skiers in Wisconsin work together on everything water skiing. And on the coattails of that, the adaptive water skiing across the state lives on, so, and I tell this story that in terms of integration, the magic number is 33. So when I look at a lot of things in life, and you look at these successes we celebrate on inclusion and that how it is working for people with disabilities, I say, let's multiply that by 33, and we're in a really good place. So we more than sextupled the access in the sport of water skiing in 6 years. And so I share that to say that my personal appetite is to take what we've done now in the last decade and keep this commitment going to quintuple that now, to get it in the direction of this assessment that I have, this quantification, to give rise to things growing 33 times more, which Global Ability Fest is an eventful demonstration of how that is so achievable. When you get the phase spaces working together with the service sector, with the people educating, with the civics sector, with the business sector, and then all the fun things we do in life. And you think culturally, we just bring it all together, this quantum leap growth just happened. So with that, I'll bring it back to you, Sue. Take it from there.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all the updates. And like I said, I haven't even gotten much of the updates on some of these pieces because they are so fresh and new. So it's exciting, all the things that are coming down the pipe here, and looking forward to all the fun that we all can collectively have together, no matter our ability. So as always, with here at Ability MKE Now, we are excited and happy to share with everyone. And with that, we thank